Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you for listening to another episode of TokYo-Yo Talk. My name is T, and I'm very, very excited to be joined today by Bryan Jardin of Duncan. So, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm very good. Thanks for joining us. How's it? What time is it over there for you?
It's 4:13 to be exact.
Nice.
PM.
How's
Yeah.
PM? Yeah. How's your day going so far?
It's great. I just got off from work at Duncan kiosk, so I usually have different type of work. I do the marketing for Duncan, and I sometimes work at the kiosk here at Disney Springs,
Mm.
Orlando.
Is that a
Yep.
pretty fun gig?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I get to work with sales and marketing, so it's a good combination, as well as meeting a lot of people, teaching kids. Yeah, that's the best part of everything. You get to have one-on-one conversation with kids, like teach them how to play yo-yo. Yeah, I get to meet at least 100 kids every day, even though they don't buy or they just want to try. It's pretty cool.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and everything?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my name is Bryan Jardin. I'm now the Team Duncan leader and marketing coordinator. I've been playing yo-yo for 14 years now, and then I'm seven times national champion in 5A, fourth in the world, and two times Asia Pacific champion in 5A. Yeah, that's me.
Nice. Quite a background. How did you get started with Duncan?
Duncan. I went to 44 Clash, 2010, and then I met a lot of Duncan crew members, Hank, Brandon Jackson, the former Duncan crew leader, and then marketing coordinator, and I'm with Sean during the time, which is Duncan crew Philippines, and then I don't know. I think I gave them a cool impression about my 5A tricks, and they kind of liked me. And then when I went back to the Philippines, they told me if I want to be part of Duncan crew, and yeah, it's been part of my dream since C Brown went to the Philippines around 2004, which is they released the Free and Zero, and starting that, I used Free and Zero up until 2010, and yeah, it's a dream.
Do you feel like like you mentioned a little bit that you know what you do and you get to meet the kids and everything, but is it like a it doesn't really sound like a job. It sounds like it's something you just love doing. How has it been working with them? Has it been all good stuff all the time?
Yeah, it's all good. So I was born and raised in the Philippines. And yodeling started as a hobby now, and it turned out a job. So like, I never thought that I'll be doing this in my life. Like no one did. If if you work in a yo-yo company, I don't think everyone is like expected to work like this. And me, I'm very happy. Like it's good to socialize with people, especially with kids. It's like sharing your passion, like teach them how to play yo-yo, tell them the history about it. Yeah, I like working with kids, so it's kind of perfect for me.
So you probably know before I interviewed Remy on the show,
Yes.
and he mentioned that you had well, he threw most of the credit for Duncan's recent success at your direction, um, saying that like you've had a lot of influence on how the company's been moving recently. Do you feel like you have a lot of sway at Duncan?
Oh man, that's like very kind of Remy. Actually, for me, in my opinion, I think it's the team before me. It's like I think everything is by teamwork. Like I asked them with the cooperation by like aggregating our social media content, which is they did, and I think it's very helpful. Promoting our yo-yos, like showing it, show up in different contests, and I think it's very important for the brand. So yeah, it's not just me. So when I got a job, I think it's more about like it's like 50% of what I want and 50% what will work for the company. And I think yeah, it kind of worked out with the team. So it's not just me working for everything. I always ask our team members, even the new one and old one, like what's the best thing to do right now in this like this year and then for the upcoming year. So yeah, it's everyone from the team Duncan now.
I think what he had mentioned specifically was that it's a company with a lot of history, and it can be sometimes a challenge to shift direction with a company like that. But it seems like you and the team have had a pretty positive effect on everything.
Yes. Actually, like when I first got a job, I've been looking at like how can I change the brand, or should I just remain what Duncan vibe is? Like I feel like if I change the direction, it kind of like ruined the identity of the brand. So what I did is like change what needs to be changed, and yeah, keep the Duncan love. And I think Duncan is very important for the community. It's because like it's not, I don't know how to say this, but I think Duncan is the mother yo-yo company, and outside the yo-yo world, Duncan's doing a lot of things. Like I think every year, at least on my side, working for Duncan now for at least 9 months, I probably donated thousands of yo-yos, like for different charities, or even just like a kid who wants to start a yo-yo school class with his classmates. Like a lot of kids will email me, hey, I need help. Can you help me? Give me some yo-yos to start with the kids, and then they will just message me, hey, Brian, like the yo-yo class went really great. There's probably like 5 kids got hooked up with yo-yos. So I think like having this type of brand that's helping the community from different part of the world is very helpful.
Yeah, that actually goes right into the next question I had was, so you think you mentioned that Duncan, you feel like is kind of like a modern company now. Like I think they've done quite a shift recently. It feels like, especially in the last 2 years or so, with Duncan's always been around. Remy mentioned, it's cool to work for a company that everyone knows. It's easy to explain. But
Yes.
do you feel like they've really shifted into like modern yo-yo? They're really fitting with every other company now.
I think I have two sides of this question. I think first, there's how to say this. If a company is doing a lot of things and like in the big world, and I think they just want to get a small pie from what they're doing. For example, if there's like 1,000 kids who bought a yo-yo, and there's at least 100 who want to play it seriously, I think Duncan want at least 25 of it to be a Duncan fan of, or like have a unresponsive Duncan yo-yo. So I think what they're doing kind of like makes sense. But I think I've talked to a lot of like previous Duncan members. They mentioned that they're kind of like 50-50 about it too. Like they want to keep the plastic identity of yo-yo. Like just release more plastic yo-yos than metal. And I think from business side, it's really hard. Seeing the quantity of ordering, like I don't think it makes sense to release a lot of plastic versus a lot of metals.
And as far as where the team is and everything, and I've been following the Instagram and Remy and yourself and other Duncan team members, that it seems that Duncan's been not only really active in the competition scene, but making it very what's the word, sharing that with the yo-yo community, like really being open and community facing.
Yes. I think with the transition going to me, there's a lot of like hiccups, not because there's a bad thing, but inside, we're fixing a lot of things. When Augie Fash got the job, he was kind of like trying to push the e-commerce business for Duncan. So that's what he's trying to focus on, which is doing great now. And then now, when I got the job, I think I'm like the I don't know, like I get the advantage of it, because like he fixed something really big that needs to be fixed, and now I have it, so I have more time doing other things. So I think what's happening now is just like, I don't know. I think it's just like a good advantage of like everything from the past 2 years.
How do you feel about Duncan's position in competition right now? You got a pretty strong team, right?
Yeah, I think we got a pretty strong team. Now like I've been telling to our team like I'd rather them enjoy the contest than focusing on being like I want to be a world champion or I want to be something like superstar. Because like I think being a young professional or a sponsored player has a different meaning or different goal from different company. Me, I want them to enjoy yo-yoing so they can share the passion to the kids. They can always like, what do you feel about being a yo-yo professional? So I wanted them to tell the real story behind it, that they're happy being a yo-yo professional. Like a lot of like me when I competed like a few years back, I took it really seriously, and I feel like there's always this feeling where pressure versus like being happy on stage. So now like when they compete, it's before like because like I kind of like coach your team sometimes. So I tell them like, all right, don't stress out being first, like enjoy and then be a champion. So yeah, I think like now everyone's growing. One of my favorite 5e players now are actually Chase and Owen. I don't know if you've been seeing their tricks. It's just like
Mm,
amazing.
mm,
And then yeah, Janosch and Tal, you can't go wrong with them. So
mm.
yeah, I think I got a pretty strong team.
Nice. I'm really glad that you're pushing the be happy first. I think there's a big focus on like you said, the superstar status. And I've talked to a few people who've mentioned burnout. Like, I got sick of
Hmm.
yo-yo and I took years off from it. It just got to be
Yeah.
too much. It's like that, then
Hmm.
shouldn't be doing it, right?
Yeah, and I think it's a Duncan spirit, like over the years, like before they remove a lot of Duncan crew members, and I think like not every one of them are champions, but at some point a lot of kids know them because like oh I it's fun seeing them on stage. Off
Mm.
stage they're very nice people, like they talk to a lot of people, they socialize, they teach kids their original tricks and stuff. So yeah, I want to keep the Duncan spirit, even though the new generation are coming in. So
And you mentioned you teach a lot of kids every day. I'm teaching a yo-yo class at the moment. I'm not that good. I'm teaching more like basics,
it's
intermediates,
super
and stuff.
cool.
What kind of tips or advice do you have on teaching classes or teaching kids the basics?
I think over the years, this is the best thing I could give you. I think you have to let them learn how to bring up the yo-yo in less than 2 minutes. Otherwise, they will be demotivated. So if you
Mm,
can teach them, if you can find your own way, how to teach them to bring up the yo-yo, to bring it back to their hand when they throw it, I think it's like a reward. Like when you did something good. Oh, I want to learn the next trick. So over the years, like it's like hit or miss, like what's wrong? Like why this kid just doesn't want to get a yo-yo? And then I realized, you know what? I think the first goal is to show how to play yo-yo in less than 2 minutes. If they
mm,
can learn it in less than 2 minutes, um, they can hook up, with the yo-yo. I actually learned it from kendama. It's like to teach kids to play kendama, you have to tell them how to put the ball in the big cup, and a lot of
mm,
kids doesn't know how to balance that. And just told them the foundation where you're gonna just like pull up as lower as you can to the big cup and then land it there. So yeah, it's the same thing in yo-yo. So I think right after I put that in my mind, um, I get more people hook up with yo-yos. So
mm.
yeah, that would be the best thing I could advise to you. And then other tricks will follow. Like Sean and I, we have different way to teach kids, and then he's more fun teaching kids. Like he has this way, like, all right, like throw your hands like you're asking for money. Like it's a ridiculous way to tell kids, but it's working. Like, and then we both have different way to show them the rock to cradle. And I got
Mm.
I got mine from Hank Freeman, and then he got his, I don't know, from a trick book, but it both work well. It's just like a matter of preference, I guess. So
Kind of going on to about yourself specifically. So obviously you're the designer of the origami.
yes,
And that was, was that your first signature throw?
it is. It is.
And what were some challenges that you had when you designed the origami?
So before we start on that question, like I did design the origami from the scratch, and then I asked my Rafael Matsunaga, the yo-yo master. I'm a big fan of him. So and then he knows about yo-yos and CAD. I asked him to put it in the blueprint. I told him, can you put this in blueprint and then copy it as possible? And then he showed me the photo. It's like the same exact thing. So yeah, the struggle I put in on the design is like how to create the yo-yo with the preference I like, because like I think a lot of yo-yo players have different preference on how snappy the vine is and the weight distribution, and then um like I like a lot of like change direction, and then a lot of like multiple tricks, and then I don't know, like a lot of movement, so I have to keep the yo-yo what do you call it, like heavy but not too heavy.
Mm.
So it's really hard to get that point when I ask a lot of people when they try to prototype, what do you think about this yo-yo? It's like, well, it's light but it's kind of heavy, and other people say it's heavy but it's kind of light. So I
Mm.
think when I heard that, it's like, all right, I think I got what I want. Like
Hmm.
I want that way. So that's the biggest challenge I had. I think I ran 3 prototypes on that, but one wave only. So like I asked Rafael to create multiple designs and then just prototype it one time. So and then I just kind of like pick one, which one I wanted. Yeah. Since we're speaking about origami,
Mm-hmm.
I'm revising the design, and then it will be next year. The first prototype started last week. I got it today. I'm pretty happy about it,
Ooh,
the new prototype. But I'm shipping some to our Team Duncan players to ask their advice as well. Because this
nice.
time I don't want it to be my preference. I want the team to be involved, like at least with few people that I can give the prototypes. You know, like as I grow old, I don't want Duncan to be just like one person, but at
Mm.
least like the whole team. Starting December up until 2 years, we have a lot of projects because 89th anniversary is coming, and then the next year of that is like important for Duncan, which is 90th. So we have a lot of yo-yos coming in, like a lot of limited editions, a lot of like small quantity, even just like only like 4 competitive yo-yos. Others are just like novelties and just like
Mm.
throwback yo-yos. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm asking a lot of people from advice, even just like old Duncan crew members, like Sean and like our new team members now, because I want it to be something that not just me deciding for the brand, but at least like the people before and now. So yeah, that's what I've been doing now, starting the origami.
You decided on a name for it, or is it just going to be the origami?
It's still gonna be origami.
Mm.
I don't have the release date yet
Mm.
because there's more yo-yo before that,
Right.
so I'm not in a rush. So
Is it scary to, I don't know how to say it, like to kind of, I mean, it's your signature, it's your
hmm
baby originally. Is it scary to sort of say like, okay, now I'm opening it up and now maybe it's not exactly my thing anymore, or it might not play exactly how I like. Does that make you feel anxious at all, or is it just like, whatever, just let's open it up?
actually the reason why it took me so long to have a signature because I like trying different type of yo-yos. Like I like having different yo-yos, to be honest.
Hmm.
So now like what so when I asked the team to decide, at least I want the yo-yo to spin well for my 5-8 tricks, and then the bind I want a specific string gap, and as long as they don't want to ruin that string gap, I'm good. Yeah.
There's
So
some things
yeah,
you don't touch.
yeah, this is one thing that you don't want to change.
Would you ever want to make another signature like that was just you, or do you think from now on, if you ever have like design say, would you always bring the rest of the team in?
At least some. I think I want to have one project that is just on me.
Mm.
But maybe that will be in a long time.
Hmm.
Because I'm kind of like switching from other things as Duncan grow. There are other responsibilities I have to take in, and then
Mm.
designing is not like my priority right now. So I'm kind of stepping back from like we have 6 designs that I only put my advice in like 2.
Mm.
So others is just like, you know what, I just want to try the prototype and tell you my thoughts, and then you revise it, some
Mm.
stuff like that, and then
Mm.
still team involved. Duncan Flambu, like the owner of Duncan, has their own engineer. They help design the new counterweights we have. It will be cool. I think it will be the I don't know. I'm very excited about this project. We have 4 counterweights, so super hype about that. Yeah. So I have Duncan has engineering that designs all our plastics counterweights. Any plastic they design that, and then I have other like outsourced team that designs our premium units, which is like the metal, the $40 and up. One of it is Rafael, me, and other team members. So.
I like how you mentioned about having novelty yo-yos or things that weren't necessarily competition focused as well. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
important to kind of
Yes.
spread out the designs. I really liked you sent me very kindly the Grasshopper X and the MKT.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really shocked at how much I love the MKT because it does look a bit
Yes.
different right off the bat,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels different too, but it's quite fun.
Yes. Actually, for me, I don't know. That design. was like hold for a long time. I
Mm.
think I've tried the first MKD prototype. I think 2.5 years ago,
Mm,
and then
wow.
now I decided to bring it because like, you know what? It's the best time to reduce MKD because like I don't know, not to be biased, but I think I've been seeing a lot of the same yo-yo in the
Mm,
market
mm.
lately.
Right.
You know, like I want it to be something different, and the MKD look is kind of like different. And when you throw it, it feels weird, but it's so good. You know, like it's not
Mm.
like weird and bad.
Mm-hmm.
When you, I don't know, I like that type of way. I want something different, and then that's what I promised to myself when I create Duncan yo-yo, or at least when I release Duncan yo-yos. I want it to be something different from other brands because like I want them to buy Duncan Yo-Yo because it has the play identity. Like even though
Mm.
there's like different variety, I want them to think, oh, this is kind of like Duncan.
Mm.
So and then yeah, like what I said, we will have, I don't know, we will have four competition yo-yos, and we will stay on that yo-yo, and then we will have a lot of novelties throwback for 89 and 90th anniversary. So
Mm.
yeah, that's
Oh.
where I'm really, that's the challenging part because I have to dig in and I want to make sure I won't hurt the Duncan identity. So
Mm. Another question I had about the way you play is, do you play other styles frequently, or do you like to focus on 5A?
actually, I play 1A more than 5A in
Oh.
the last, let's say 10 months. I don't know. I like 1A a lot. I think 1A is a division where there's a lot of elements. It's, I don't know. I don't think it will end. You know, like I don't think elements will end. In 5A right now, I think we need, I think like the reason why, I don't know, sorry to for the off topic, but I think like
Mm.
the reason why I chose, I kind of stopped from playing 5A right now is because like when the new dice came in, I want to be something different. I think having new colorways for a different set, I think it will change the 5A game. And when it changed, I think I will adopt the meta, and I think the excitement will, you know, like come back.
Mm.
So yeah, so I play a lot of 1A. I think I have a lot of cool 1A tricks than my 5A tricks right now.
Mm. Interesting. Is it more difficult to expand in 5A? Do you feel like there's less you can do, or is?
I think it's just like if you watch a lot of World Yoga Contest video, let's say, if you're gonna watch the top five, I don't think someone who wants to start 5A in the next 2 to 3 years practice can beat them,
Mm.
if that makes sense. For
Mm.
example, I'm a 1A player and I will practice 2 years to compete for World Yoga Contest. I don't think I can beat this top five because that's how hard the 5A is. Because I see it this way. I think there's only few elements, and then the people who's into competitive play owns that elements already. Like kind of like,
Mm.
all right, well, that's Takeshi's trick. Oh, that's, like Jake Elliott's trick. Oh, that's Miguel's trick, and that's Brian. Like it's not like 1A that it's easy to create. It's not easy, sorry, but it's kind of like have more space or room to create your own
Mm.
identity.
Mm.
As you can see now, like if you're gonna watch top 10 1A finalists, you will see that there's a lot of identity there. There's a lot of like different elements. Yeah, like watching Janos Tal, Gentry, like all the finalists from, I don't know, they have different style, and
Mm.
it's hard to see it from 5A. So I think for me, I think having different type of counterweights, it's kind of having different counterweights is like the same as having different type of yo-yo. It will
Mm.
change the way you play. So yeah, I'm saving my tricks for that.
Wow, excellent answer. Okay. And you mentioned a few players, obviously with Duncan and other companies as well. Who are some people you feel like people should have their eyes on these days? Who should we be following?
For 5A, I think Chase and I'm sorry. So for Duncan first, I think Chase and Owen. I think I don't know. I'm a big fan of them now. It's hard for me to say was like was my favorite yo-yo player because like seeing yo-yoing from 2004 up until now, it has different. It's very subjective. That's
Mm.
the way I say it. So yeah, for now I think Andrew Mater got some cool stuff. Tal is coming up with. I think Tal's very young. I don't know. He's been playing. I think he's been playing for 5 years, and he got two EYYC title. And
Mm.
I think it's ridiculous. Like creating his own style is like 5 years of playing. I think it's I think he will go far. So like I've seen Tal's trick off stage. He got a lot of new stuff. Yeah, Tal is a person that you guys should watch. And then Andrew Mater is pretty cool. Charles Haycock is like one of my favorite player as of now. I think he got some cool stuff. Um, yeah, I think my all-time favorite would be Jen Ando, Jason Lee, Dimasa, Kota, Sid. There's a lot. Those are like I think what we've been talking about earlier is like their identity. I think it's very important. You know, like even though you're not a world champion, as long as the trick shows who you are, I think that's your identity. And I think it's very important for yo-yoing. And I think in any other skill toys, I believe, you know, they have different styles, and that shows your legacy. So that's how I choose what's my favorite yo-yo player.
My last question before we get into Instagram here is, and it depends on how you want to approach it, especially being in marketing. You probably know how to approach this kind of question well, but what are some trends you see in yo-yo now that you think should stop? Or is there anything in yo-yo that you're like, oh, not another one of those?
Let's see it this way. Remove the tricks and the player. I think yo-yoing has more negativity than positivity. I'm not gonna name people, but I think like a lot of leaders tends to be more I don't know, like negative about things, and I think it's very bad for the community because as a leader, you don't show your fan people was starting to be on that community. You don't show them negativity because that pushed them away. You know, like I think it stops us from growing. Like it doesn't mean you have to be positive all the time, but I think it's just like even just being neutral that helps us grow. I think I don't know, when I started playing yo-yo, there's no negativity behind the community from different countries. It's just all like going to yo-yo club meets, share tricks, world yo-yo contest. Everyone's awake all night. You don't see people fighting, and now people are just like debating online about who's good and who's bad, who has a better yo-yo company and who's the worst. You know, like and I think it's very bad for the community, and I think that pushes people away. I think it's gonna be a long conversation, but I'm gonna make it short. I had a discussion about this with Hank Freeman. I know you're familiar with Hank. Hank's like one of my close friends. I asked him like, why do you think yo-yoing, and everyone knows it. If someone who owns a yo-yo company listening, you know that yo-yoing sales is going down, or even yo-yo players like attendance. Every yo-yo contest around the world is just going down, and I think it's just because of like how we represent yo-yoing to many people. If that makes sense. Like a good example is kendama. I was talking to Hank about it like a few years back. Oh, kendama will just slowly go down. And did we see them go down? Maybe for a couple months, but now it's big again after a couple months. It's not like yo-yoing takes 5 years to get the trend again. And that's because of their community. They're all laid back. They're fun to hang out with. They're very positive. Even though there's negativity behind it, the positivity covers up the negativity of the community. And yeah, and I think it's very important, and that's how I see it. And then that should remove from the community. And once that happens, and I think it will go back again to now, you know, like around THP time, you know, like there's like thousands of yo-yo players everywhere, and I want that to happen again. And then Duncan has a lot of plan. It started from like the Yo-Yo Scout. We have a Yo-Yo Scout program, and I don't know, man. For the 10 days, I think I don't know. We probably sold a lot of. I can't name how many, but we sold a lot of yo-yos, like a ton of yo-yos in my life. Like I've been working the kiosk for like 4 years. We've never sold that much yo-yo in our like having a booth, like teach kids how to play yo-yo. Like like I haven't seen that many people play yo-yo. We work there 8 to 5. I never had a break because we've been teaching kids a lot, like a lot. That's how it is. And then people need to hike to our booth because it's Jamboree is like the biggest Boy Scout. yes, they have to hike up like 45 minutes or even just walk to go to our booth, practice yo-yo, hang out. That's how they want to play yo-yo. And we will have a lot of that event, not even just Jamboree, but big events to show the yo-yo. Like our target now is just non-yo-yo players, and everyone. It's been like that for many years. But now I'm handling full time the yo-yo community, which who we are, and then the outside yo-yo world. We still have that scene that handles that, and I'm partially part of that too. We have a lot of scheduled. We have a lot of plans to bring the yo-yo back.
A way to bring it back around and make it positive at the end. I like that.
Yes.
Great. So that's all I have for my questions. So shall we get into our Instagram questions?
Go ahead.
All right. So first one we've got, I think the way you pronounce this is Iggy Suche, maybe. Bryan, what is your trick making process?
Awesome. I think I remember this guy. Wait a second. I think he went to Florida State. Yes, this guy. Actually, it's very funny. I just remember his name for some reason. So this guy, in every contest, you only give awards to top 3, right? And then I just heard that this guy has been playing for like 10 months, and he got a lot of cool stuff. He probably, I don't know, he got original tricks already, and then he knows how to play sideways, like good slack, like I don't know. I just gave him an award, a special award, like. It's like this is the youngest, like the next generation. Anyway, sorry, off topic. But anyways,
No.
This is a pretty cool guy. So my trick creation, the process. What is your trick making process? When I create tricks, I don't know if everyone knows it. Like my trick is based from mistake tricks. Like I'm just playing yo-yo around, and then here's a new trick, and then I'm kind of like. Once I have because like what I want when I create tricks, I want different mounts. Once I figure out what like a new mount, the next step would be how can I make this look cool? How can I make this presentable? Because I don't want super complicated tricks that no one can copy. I want tricks that people can copy, use it, create their own tricks out of my tricks. Like it's kind of like evolve. Everything makes sense. I don't create tricks where alright, I'm just gonna combine my combo 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't do that. I try to make things relevant from first trick up to the very end. And it takes a long process for me. Like, let's say my freestyle from 2013 to 2017 or 16, those tricks are simplified tricks from 10 years ago. So I would say 90% of the tricks I've been using for the contest I know the trick for a very long time, and it will just take me. You know what? I have this mount. I think this trick looks cool for this. Kind of like combine it, and then I want to make sure it looks good for the contest, or even it will score high. So, yes, that's how I create tricks.
Nice.
I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Because for me, it's kind of like weird.
That makes sense. Relevancy. That makes sense. Next question here is from Andre Adario Yo-Yo, who asks, are you planning to go back to the Philippines?
Wow, I bet he's a Filipino. Let's see. Yes, he is. I don't have plans yet. If I will, probably for a vacation. As of now, my opportunity here is here in America. So, yeah, I might stay here for a very long time. And then if things change, I might. But for now, my long term, what do you call it? Thinking would be here in America.
Next one is from EOSX44 Draws, who's a constant commenter on my channel.
Awesome.
Very cool guy. But he didn't have a question. He just said, Bryan, your video with the Butterfly XT is one of the things that started me into yo-yo. I just want to say thank you for inspiring me.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you're in our community. More players to come, I guess.
Yeah, he does some really excellent tutorials too. I think it's 44 tutorials
cool.
on YouTube.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's really cool. Next one we got here is from Peter Hunter 12. He says, this is a question for Duncan more than for Bryan. With all due respect, Duncan doesn't seem to promote their yo-yos much. No hype for new releases, etc. Is this on purpose?
I don't think it's on purpose. It's just a matter of like a one-man team, I guess. Right now, we're kind of like focusing on like kiosk because like Disney is a very challenging place to be in. Not because like it's bad to be, but it's just like a lot of people are coming in and you want to be ready. So I work at the kiosk. I help with sales and sales tactics, managerial role, and then be there as a associate. And then aside from posting social media, I have a lot of things to do too. Product development, art quality control, talking to a bunch of factories, and then collaborations, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's probably why you don't see a lot of like promotions online. And if you're gonna go to all of our team Instagram, there's a lot of content. So Duncan Instagram's kind of spread out from our team because they're more active than Duncan, right? But we have a lot of videos that maybe not for today, maybe not for this month, but for at least second week of November until end of the year. So I hope that answered your question.
And then our last question here is, maybe this is a bit loaded, but Javier Augusto asks, favorite Mexican player.
Change topic, please. I don't like Javier. Of course, Javier. It's my favorite Mexican player. We always talk. I don't know, like Duncan has what do you call it? A group chat, and then we're just talking. It's funny because our what do you call our group chat. We rarely talk about yo-yos. We just talk about random things. And I think it's that's why I love my team, because it's not just like very serious about yo-yo. I want to be a world champion, but it's more about fun. So yeah, Javier is like one of my favorite Mexican yo-yo player, I guess.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's that camaraderie, right? It really helps everything else move. Yeah, cool. Well, that's all I've got, and that's all we have for Instagram. But so thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute blast.
Yeah, it's a very long interview, and then I hope it's all okay.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I hope they have fun with that. Hey, thank you for everything. Yeah, at last we made it.
Yes.
I know we've been talking about how to make this, like possible, like yeah. So glad we made it.
Exactly. Yeah, agreed. Before we head out of here, is there anything you want to put into people's brains?
I think follow our team. Like, they have a lot of cool stuff. If you want to see a lot of like crazy trick, like Trick Circle King, Remy is pretty cool. Like he got a lot of cool stuff. Chase, Tal, and Sean just got sponsored by Western Union. So there's a lot of content from outside yo-yoing world. I think it's very cool. Yeah. So follow our team. There's a lot of cool stuff happening all over the world. Yeah. Thank you for everything.
Cool. All right. Well, before as we sign out of here, I like to ask the guests if they will say the TokYo-Yo catchphrase. Do you know it offhand?
No, I'm sorry.
No,
What's
it's fine.
That?
It's we say Sayonara before we head out.
Sayonara, guys.